All right, so recording has just started. So good morning, everyone. Gue, bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome to our monthly coffee break. I'm Carol Spicer of Spicer Facilitation and Learning, and it's February 20th, 2024. I don't know where February has gone. If you're like me, it just flew. But here we are, and very excited to welcome you to our regular monthly coffee break. My guest today is Colin Walsh with the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. He'll do a little intro, I think, of himself later. Want to take a moment and ask all of you to join me in thinking about where you're connecting from and take a moment to acknowledge the lands that we're joining. I'm in the beautiful community of Pasadena on the West Coast, which is on the ancestral lands of the Beothuk. In our province, we have 5 Indigenous populations that I'd like to acknowledge. The Beothuk, the Mi'kmaq, the Inuit, the Innu, and the Southern Labrador Inuit. And Colin, for you to know that we do have folks from across the province. So we are acknowledging all of those diverse Indigenous peoples that have come before us on this beautiful land.
Thank you for that,
Although I
Carol.
have to say, I got a few people from Pasadena joining me here, so we're all on the same lands. So today, we've got Colin from government. We're going to talk a little bit about funding, but before he gets into talking about some of the funding programs that are available, to give Colin a bit of a sense of who's joining us, I'm going to ask you folks to introduce yourselves. And if you want to just say a little bit about the organization you're with and maybe where you're located, because I do get excited about that when we can reach beyond just our traditional borders. We're in the 4th year of our virtual coffee break. We started in 2020 as a pilot, and we did it for 3 months as a pilot, which brought us to March 2020. We all know what happened in March 2020. So we carried on, and I'm really pleased that each month, even post-pandemic, when the in-person events are getting together, that folks still see an interest in doing the virtual. And as long as you folks are willing and interested in connecting, I'm willing to provide this opportunity. Not all of us get an opportunity to drive down to the local coffee shop, and especially those of you that are across the province, we don't often get a chance to connect. So I'm really, it's your community. That's what this is all about. And as long as you folks are still showing interest, I'm going to continue to offer. So let's start. I'm going to start midstream because always alphabetical, right? You start at the beginning or you start at the end. I'm going to start midstream, go down, and then come back to the top. So I'm going to start with the J's, which means I'm going to have Janice first, and then Julie, and then Margaret. So Janice, if you want to take it away and introduce yourself and let folks know who you are.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Janice Evans. I'm one of the 3 owners of the Roost at York Harbor, which is a gift shop and gallery located in beautiful York Harbor in the Bay of Islands. And basically, we promote Newfoundland arts and crafts in our shop. We try to keep everything Newfoundland made, and we're a seasonal business. So right now, we're just working up to our next season. Thank you.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Julie, and then Margaret.
Good morning. My name is Julie Lewis, and I'm meeting you from St. John's, Newfoundland, boring old town. I have to say that because, and I run.
You are talking to West Coasters, so yeah.
I agree. Listen, I lived in Corner Brook. I was not in the house when I was in, on the West Coast. There was things you could do with the snow that fell. This stuff can't do much with. So that's it. You look at it, but it's hard to play in. Although, you know what? I'm just complaining, so I'm not going to say that. So I run an art and coding and animation school here in St. John's, but I also do online teaching, which has worked out really well. We have a satellite studio starting in Cape Royal. So every Wednesday we've been making weekly meetings happening out there. So it's been working out so far, so good. Kind of like you, Carol, as long as there's a need, I'm pursuing it. And then as I put it out there, I look to see how things are going organically. So far, so good. Yeah, and I'm excited to be here today, and I'm happy to see so many familiar faces, and hi to everybody. Thanks, Carol.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank
Margaret and then Maria Renee.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I lost connection there for a few minutes. So I missed all the beginning part. I just came on when Janice started talking. So sorry about that. I'm having technical difficulties here this morning.
That's okay. We're just doing intros, so you're just in time.
Okay. All right. So I'm Margaret Budgell. I own River Mountain Realty. I'm here in Pasadena. And congratulations, Carol, by the way, on your 6-year anniversary.
Thank you.
So yeah, I own a real estate company based here in Pasadena at my home, and things are going well. It's been a busy start to the year, and hopefully that will continue. And yeah, good to see everybody. Good morning.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Welcome. Next up, Maria Renee and then Melissa. And Melissa, if it's easier for you to type in chat, your introduction, please do that.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Marie, and I work for Horizon TNL. So it's a bilingual nonprofit that's in St. John's, but I'm based in Corner Brook on the West Coast. I work in the business succession field. So I'm project manager for 2 projects. One is Solution Succession, which is a program for women that wants to purchase an existing business. And also we have a website, the SME Succession Hub for small medium enterprise, on which people can list their business for sale for free. Potential buyers can also get on there, and a directory of experts. So all the resources all under one roof. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here again. It's always a lovely time at the coffee break. And yeah, congrats for your 6 years.
Thank you. I was played hooky on my 6-year anniversary. Didn't work yesterday. Not that I had civic holiday, because I don't get that as a business owner, but I decided to take the day anyway. So thank you for your kind words. Melissa, I'm not sure if you want to try to introduce, or if, like I say, if chat is easier for you, whichever works. Okay, I'm going to go to Sharon next and then Brennan. Sharon?
Good morning. And
Morning.
I'm also in Pasadena, Sharon Evans. I know most of you. So good morning, welcome. And once again, Carol, kudos on 6 years.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got us all together. I'm so thankful for this. I haven't missed very many of these.
Nope.
I own and operate SEVA meditation mindfulness business. I started in 2015, and I'm chugging right along, collaborating with some of you that are on this link this morning. So yeah, welcome. Thanks. Looking forward to this, Colin. All the best, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you. Brennan, I'm going to go to you, and then Bone, we're just doing introductions. I'll come to you after Brennan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brennan Lowry. I'm with Navigate. So I run the entrepreneurship centers at Brentford and CNA. I am unfortunately, again, the only person at Navigate. Allison, who many of you know, just took a position at CNA. But I'm sure many of us will still be working with her in one way or another. And big congrats to Carol for 6 years. I think Carol's business is one of several that launched during a startup weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So that's always exciting. And yeah, I missed last month, so sorry about that. I'm glad to be back in the mix.
Excellent. Thank you, Brennan. And yes, I pitched at a startup weekend when I was suspecting that I was going to be losing my position, which 2 weeks after I did lose my position and started my business. So I didn't actually work on my business during startup. However, I stayed for the whole process and learned all kinds of information, learned about a business model canvas that I had no idea what it was, learned about an ecosystem of people that I had no idea existed. And so, yeah, the Navigate was certainly a big factor in getting things started for me. So I'm really pleased to be able to still support Navigate and work together. Sandra, awesome. Bone, welcome.
Hi, it's my first time here. My name is Bone. Daphne invited me to join this. She said there was this thing going on every now and then where entrepreneurs just get together to talk about stuff, you know. So to be honest, I have absolutely no clue what's gonna go on. Excited either way.
Awesome.
Yeah, I am with a team of business coaches, focus coaches. I'm not sure if you know those guys. And I am also a digital marketer. I run social marketing for businesses that depend on high ticket clients with appointments. That is the gist of what I do.
Okay. And where are you joining us from?
From St. John's, Newfoundland.
Okay. Excellent. Welcome.
Thank you.
We'll go easy on you at your first time.
Thanks.
Carmelita, then Daphne, and then Suzanne.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here in Deer Lake, and I own and operate Karma Yoga with Carmelita Morgan. And I teach yoga, mindfulness, and present all across the West Coast and beyond. And again, I have to echo everyone's congratulations, Carol, on your 6th year in business. I know you've helped a lot of people in that 6 years. I know I'm one of them, and eternally grateful, as you know.
Thank you. I couldn't do it without all of you fine folks. So awesome. My business relies on word of mouth, and this community is what keeps me going. So thank you. You're a big part of that.
Thank you.
Daphne, and then Suzanne.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see all the familiar faces, and welcome, Bon. And I think this team is definitely going to be something that you'll enjoy joining, and perhaps can help provide some of your expertise and gain some of your expertise as well. My name is Daphne Zev. I'm in St. John's. I work for Newfoundland Labrador Credit Union, which is NLCU. We're a financial institution and helping small businesses, small and large businesses, but mostly I'm focused on just local small businesses of Newfoundland all across the island in growing your business and providing you a large range of specialized services to meet your changing financial needs, such as line of credit, loans, commercial loans, and so forth. I also am a part of the Study and Stay NL program, which I'm really excited, and I'd like to also introduce that to everyone. The Study and Stay NL program has been around since 2008, supporting international students with their final year of studies and helping them integrate into the business community. We are starting a mentorship program. We had a mentorship program since the last couple of years, but we're expanding it now to a group mentorship program, and we're looking for mentors across the business community to join us. And it's beneficial for both the students, as we get to know the students, and we help them integrate into the community. It's also a great networking event for many of the local businesses, and it's really exciting a venture to go through. So I'm in St. John's, and thank you for having me on.
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome. I've been a mentor in that program 3 years. I think this is my 4th year. And it took a while for them to convince me, because I'm like, what the heck could I ever share? It is so rewarding to connect with these students. Daphne does great work working with the team. She's lived their experience. She's originally from Israel and has traveled into our province, so she has walked their shoes. I haven't, but I've traveled from the big metropolis of Toronto to here, I guess, and understand sometimes coming from those bigger cities into a small community. I remember my very first mentee was from Azerbaijan, which the population was like huge, and he's in Corner Brook. That adjustment of coming from massive population to Corner Brook in a pandemic where he wasn't allowed to leave the house. So sometimes it was our conversations didn't focus on career development, it focused on mental health, it focused on wellness, it focused on just the challenges of being so far from home. So please consider giving Daphne your information and becoming a mentor. It's extremely rewarding, and they're always looking to support students, and hopefully they actually stay in our province then. So it's an awesome program. Suzanne, you may be wondering, why did I come to you last? And you're an S and I missed S's, but you've come in alphabetically with your last name. So
No
that's why.
worries, no worries at all. Hi, everyone. I've attended many of Carol's events, coffee breaks over the last 6 years, and congratulations on that anniversary.
Thank you.
For those who don't know me, because there are a few new faces here in the room, my name is Suzanne Da. I'm with the Newfoundland Labrador Workforce Innovation Center, administered by College of the North Atlantic. I'm situated here in Corner Brook. I don't work on campus. I got a telework agreement. Kind of started that with COVID and kind of loving it because I do get out to lots of events and meetings, not only locally, but provincially and nationally. So I thoroughly enjoy that piece of the work. So a little bit about NLWIC. We're an organization that over the last 6 years as well, Carol, it's next month, it'll be 6 years for me with the center. We focused on research and provided funding around workforce innovation for underrepresented groups in the province. My role is that I'm involved with stakeholders throughout Newfoundland and Labrador and nationally and internationally, actually, on models of workforce development and looking at what the issues, opportunities, and barriers are to workforce in the province. So you'll see, me around at a number of events and presenting at conferences for NLWIC. We, try to collaborate and build partnerships and relationships in the province. One big initiative, just to mention, we were funded by the Future Skills Center and the provincial government, and we rolled out a regional workforce development committee initiative over the last 2 years. That project is paused right now. The evaluation is being done with government. One exciting thing that we're hoping to launch by the end of March is we've done, and it's going to be really, I think, good for the entrepreneurs here, but it's an ecosystem map of all the organizations in Newfoundland and Labrador that have programs and or services for job seekers, students, entrepreneurs, employers for workforce development. So it's a digital map, and then you can go into specific regions. Of course, we contracted that out to Triware Technologies, and they developed the map itself and hired a researcher to put information in. So if you're not in the map and you have a service or you need to access services, that tool will be available. We're getting ready to do a soft launch now, looking at some of our organizations going in and making sure their information is correctly entered correctly, and that there's a PIN for their location so that if people in a region want to connect with you. Anyway, Carol, once it gets launched, maybe you'll have me back and I'll take everybody through a tour of the map and show them the information that's there. And anybody at any time, if you're a registered organization, nonprofit or not, you can add your listing into the site. It'll just be vetted internally by our team. Anyway, pleasure to be here. Yeah, it is. It's pretty awesome. We're excited about it. We're really close, but it's just fixing some of the bugs and glitches in the technology now.
That's awesome. I'm so excited because I know that there was some research done that was presented down. It was at the mill, actually, about the ecosystem. And so it's a number of years old now. But and I'm also excited that there's an opportunity for people to be added into it, because you may not think of someone who's actually supporting an entrepreneur indirectly that may not have hit the research initially, but that's awesome to be able to be added. Daphne, do you have a question on that?
I'd like to connect with you as well, Suzanne. I think for the Study and Stay Now program, this will be a really, perhaps you can maybe even come and do a presentation for the student at some point.
Absolutely. Sounds wonderful. I'll put my contact. I'll put it in the chat.
If that's okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to take a moment just to say, too, that Brennan's organization, Navigate, also has a directory. So if you're not listed in that, you can certainly take a look at the directory on Navigate's small business website and just get the format and send Brendan the information. He'll get his web team to get you added into their directory as well. You can provide your logo and just your contact info, and it's another source of finding who's around. And I think many of us on this call, Brendan, are on your listing already. So it's good to know. But for those that aren't, or those that are searching, it's a good place to go. Colin, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm hoping that gave you a nice sense of who we've got on the call that are here to listen to your words of wisdom, sir.
I don't know about wisdom, but I will try. It's great to meet everybody, and what a wonderful collection of people. You know, I was listening to everybody. I've kind of touched on a lot of sectors. I'll tell you a bit about me. I graduated Memorial University with a Bachelor of Commerce, and so a long time ago, I used to work in this department. I wasn't employed by the government, but I worked for one of the regional economic development boards. So that was my first foray into the regional economic development. So that was a long time ago. And I spent some time outside of government after that. I just checked out all the industries here. I was a personal trainer, so I understand the yoga and the mindfulness. I was that, I delved into that business there for a while. It's a wonderful place to be. Yeah, and I don't know if Margaret's there, but I was a real estate agent for a couple of years. There was a couple of years where I did my anti-masters. I was like, I'm not going back to school until I finish paying off my student loans. So there's a couple of years I delved into a lot of these businesses. So it's all very interesting to me. And about 15 years ago, I got hired by the Department of Fisheries, Forestry, and Agriculture. So for about 14 years, I was with agriculture. So with those cost share programs, the federal provincial programs, growing forward to sustainable Canadian agricultural partnership. So I was there for 14 years. And then last year, I feel like I came home because I came back here. So this is where I am. I haven't been here quite a year yet. So actually, this is my first presentation. So go easy on me. If I'm sure you've probably seen some of this stuff before. So if you've seen it, tell me to move on. We'll go on and we'll get to what's pertinent to you and your businesses and your interests. Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
Okay. So we are the Department of Industry, Energy, and Technology. We've been a few different names. When I was here, it was called something different. So I always trip over industry because when I was here, it was innovation. So here we are. So we're the lead innovation, economic development, and diversification for Newfoundland and Labrador. We provide insight, intelligence, innovation, investment services for business communities to create strong, vibrant business communities and regional economies. And this is about us. We're everywhere on this province. You know, we do have a bit of turnover, but there might be some vacancies in some regional offices. But we, as EDOs, we cover all those off. So if someone's not there, someone will step up and fill in for that region. So contact us. So economic development is a community-informed, place-based strategic approach to developing new enterprises, stabilizing existing enterprises, growing existing enterprises, attracting new enterprises, or creating conditions for these to take place. So I think Brennan can attest to that. And here we are. And so for Newfoundland and Labrador, our traditional sectors were fisheries, mining, offshore oil. For our department now, we've identified certain strategic sectors. So for us, this is where we want to invest. This is where we want to see small and medium businesses find opportunities. So aquaculture, ocean technology, IT, biotechnology, aerospace, industry supply and services, agriculture, food and beverage, creative industries, and tourism. Does anybody have any questions around that, around government strategic sectors that we're targeting?
Yep,
Sure.
you've got a question, Sharon?
Just a comment, Colin. I guess meditation would fall under aerospace.
Yes. But I mean, that would get into your creative industries, your tourism, you know, if depending on who you're trying to target, right?
So I think it's important though, Colin, for people to realize, because I know this is something that I learned quickly with your predecessor. This could be a barrier if you don't fit into these industries. It may not mean that you're eligible for support. Is that correct?
We, you know, financial support might not be there. You might not fit our financial programs, but we always have advisory services. There's always some support that we can put out there. And you know what, the advisory services, I've seen people come in and they're like, "Oh, I got to do this in order to be successful." And I'm like, well, here's some low hanging fruit over here, and you might not necessarily want to go. You know, before you start spending money, you start requesting like our business investment fund coming in for a repayable loan. Before you start spending money, like let's identify the low hanging fruit. Have you considered these things? So a little more strategic things. So we have those kinds of resources.
Okay, awesome.
Sharon, did you have something else to add?
No, I think she's good.
No. So this is economic value. So we see value in entrepreneurship, innovation, internationalization. Was it Hillary King? Back when I was with the Red Boards, we here in Corner Brook, our Humber Economic Development Board, we created a sister organization called Humber Education Alliance. I'm sure Suzanne Dawes remembers this here. So at that point in time, we wanted to, or what the government was doing, and was wanted to investigate branding the province as a destination for international education. So Corner Brook and Grenfell, well, all of Corner Brook, because there's a bunch of there's more than just the university that benefits from attracting international students. So at that time, we created a sister organization called the Humber Education Alliance that was branding Corner Brook as a destination for international education. So that took collaboration between the university, College of North Atlantic, the private schools. Academy Canada was there at the time, and then the province was there with the high school. And so they wanted to spur the homestay experience. So in the community, they wanted, you know, just like you're doing, Hillary, you want to create a home or create opportunity, economic opportunity, commercial opportunities for the business or for the town to host these students and come here and spend money on accommodation, spend money on or go to the Marble Mountain and spend money there, and then hopefully learn here as well, and then they might stay and start a business. So it's that one's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, Hillary just joined in, Colin. She wasn't here during the initial introductions, but Hillary is with us, and she's out of St. John's with the Study and Stay program as well.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Hillary. All right. So here are tools and resources. So not everything is always monetary. So, you know, we have business loans, we have advisory services are always there. And we do have some non-repayable funds. So our key areas of focus, supporting economic development, so regional economic development, so services, policy, strategic investments, and capacity building for regions, communities, and sectors that enable the growth of businesses and economic development opportunities. Sector growth and diversification, and then business growth. So product development, commercialization, productivity improvement, knowledge and technical assistance, growth and internalization. So our non-financial support, so advisory, counseling, referrals, and really excited, Suzanne Dye, to hear about that ecosystems map. That's going to be a welcome piece of infrastructure, a great tool for us to have, because we all do work very well together. You know, we support each other, and no one has one client. We all share the clients. So that's how I always view it. And so we do differentiate commercial funds. So we have our business investment and R&D funding, and our non-commercial funds, so regional development funds. So that's non-commercial, non-repayable. So you'll see that the non-commercial fund in Corner Brook, for example, we have the Glenmullion Corner Brook Trail, the Corner Brook Stream Development Corporation. They do beautiful trail works around town. So those kinds of organizations will access our non-commercial funds.
Colin, can I just jump in here?
Sure.
The community capacity building is eligible, or nonprofits are eligible for community capacity building. Are not-for-profits eligible to look at the regional development program?
No, say that again. So our community capacity build.
Community capacity building, I know nonprofits as well as businesses can go after that funding. But with the regional development, is nonprofit available to avail of that as well?
I'd have to check into that.
Okay.
All right.
Because I just know there's a few people on here that work with nonprofits as well.
Yeah, and I have a question as well, Colin.
Yep.
So that sorry, I got a frog in my throat this morning. So the Regional Development Fund, can municipalities access that fund?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And we'd like to see them partner up. Usually municipalities, they'll have like pot of funding and then they'll partner. Like I know the city of Corner Brook will, if they want to do some trail work, they'll go to Corner Brook Stream Development Corporation, partner with them. Pasadena partnered last year with the West Coast Cycling Association, so they wanted to do a mountain bike trail in the community and attract new visitors to the town. So they partnered with the WCCA. So it's always nice to see them. Now they can go it alone, but you know, very often you'll see them partner. They'll have a strategic partner. Any other questions on that? I like the questions, the tough ones.
Yeah.
I need the tough questions.
Yeah, I may have to have a conversation with you later because I want to dig a little bit deeper about municipalities and accessing funds for if they're doing like surveys on what's happening in regions for labor supply, workforce in a region, just to see if you fund anything of those ventures as well, right?
I would think, Suzanne, my instinct there says that the community capacity building program, because there's a full suite of programs, and you know they very much promote like strategic planning, coming in together, getting stakeholders together. They love that, and yeah, Jeff Lawler is the contact for that, so I can make sure I can send you all that.
Excellent, thank you.
And I have a quick question, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead, Daphne.
This is Daphne. Having on my study and stay program hat on, when I'm listening to you, I think you would be good probably to have you come over and maybe have a quick presentation for the students. Is that something you'd be open to? Because we have a lot of the students, international students, that come here with already degrees, already been entrepreneurs in their own country. Some of them are ready to just step out into the world once they finish their education and start their own business. It's just that what Hillary and I are trying to do is really put all the resources that we can for them and connect them with the right people within the community, with local community, business community. So would you be open to that?
For sure. And what I would do, I would contact my counterpart in St. John's and you know, and partner with them and come in as much as I can. The Humber Education Alliance, that was a project that I was working on 20 years ago. And you know, as an international student, I almost gave my parents a stroke. I went to Mexico, didn't know a word of Spanish. I went. And so I was an international student thrown into a culture that was completely foreign and didn't know the language. So I understand the experience, and I had a wonderful time. And it is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, for your own character building. I almost gave my parents a stroke. And there's people here that know my parents, and they probably heard that back in the day.
My son did the same. My son did the same to me. He went out to Asia.
Ah, right on. Yes. What they don't know is that I went to Mexico and I thought I was going to have a spot in residence, but I didn't. I thought I'll get one because I lived in residence in St. John's and that'll be easy. So for the first couple of days, they were like, no. So then I had to find off-campus housing. My parents don't know that one, Sharon, so don't ever share that with them, okay? They don't know I was homeless in Mexico for a couple of days. But I straightened it out all by myself.
Awesome.
So we're going to move on here. So business development support. So the business development support program. So that's our a fund that has a non-repayable portion. All right, so it's just Newfoundland small to medium businesses increase and improve productivity and competitiveness. So we develop and grow by improving operations, investing in people, focusing on trade opportunities. We're focusing on export markets and provide import substitution. So we don't want to compete with local markets. We want to expand our markets. We want to expand our horizons. So non-repayable contribution. So eligible activities of this program are focused in 4 components: productivity improvements, knowledge and skills development, market development, including department-led travel, so professional technical assistance. Projects will be funded to a maximum of 50% of total eligible cost to a maximum of $100K per year based on the eligible cost of $200K. So in order to access our maximum $100K, the proponent needs to come in with another $100K. So the budget has to be $200K. So to get access to $100K, you have to spend at least $100K. Does that make sense to everybody? Competitive. So negative impact on existing businesses. We're very conscious of that. We need to protect our own and our existing. So we'd like to see targeting new markets or expanding an existing market. Loss of market share could be detrimental to existing local businesses with no net economic benefit for the province. So our business investment fund. And so, you know, I've been here for about a year now, and I haven't seen a proponent come in for this one. My counterpart in Deer Lake went through an application. But as I understand this fund to be, we're a funder of last resort. And my experience as a real estate agent came in here. So, you know, a new business comes in, they want to invest, they've gone to their own bank and they've, you know, they've got some credit there. They might have gone to Business Development Bank of Canada and gotten another loan, but they still need a certain portion. We consider this fund to be the lender of last support. So we do have a preferred interest rate, but we want to see that the proponent has come in and exhausted all possibilities, all avenues for credit before they come to us. Anybody have any questions around that one?
Colin, I've helped a couple of clients recently do some financial projections and let you know that they were aware of this program because that was being built into their projections that, you know, loan of this much from the bank at this rate and a loan of this much from the government at this rate. But they were doing exactly that. They were leveraging other funding first.
Yes.
And then trying to supplement with your funding.
Yes. The way I understand this fund is it's there. It's just when they see an opportunity, the business has an opportunity, they just need that little bit extra. And we're there. And I've seen they're fairly big projects. When it gets to this, it's a fairly big project. So, and you're right, they do have to do a lot of financial projections. They got to demonstrate that they can pay this loan back. So it's fairly intense. That business investment fund, the applicants, small to medium based enterprises operating in Newfoundland and Labrador, have fewer than 100 employees, less than 10 million in sales, able to undertake the work identified in the project proposal, able to access the financial capital required to complete the project, and that's where they have some of those different financial partners, right? Operate in a strategic sector as defined by IET, and be in good standing with the government of Newfoundland and Labrador. So you don't have any existing arrears with us from a previous project. Some examples. So Appalachian Chalets and RV, that was a tourism operation. Multiple revenue sources. So they have an RV park, restaurant, gift store, community events. And then we get into our regional development fund. So provide support by way of non-repayable contributions to not-for-profit organizations.
There you go. My answer.
That's your answer.
You're that good, Colin.
Right on. I knew all the answers were here. So the implementation of economic initiatives with respect to regional sectoral development, diversification, and innovation. Projects must clearly link non-commercial activities to economic diversification and/or business development. So again, the two programs. And I think everybody, yeah, I can send out the links for those programs.
Also, I'll just jump in. If you go onto my social media YouTube channel, I had Jeff Lawler as one of my guests for our Community Connection, which is the not-for-profit virtual session that I do. So that recording is on my YouTube channel, where he takes us all the way through that. So if you want to watch that, but certainly, Colin, if you want to pop links into the chat before we finish up today, people can grab those.
Sure.
But Jeff is your contact. He's fantastic to work with in St. John's. He knows all the ins and outs of it.
So our regional development program, so non-repayable contribution, normally to a maximum contribution of 25% of total eligible costs. So our eligible applicants for that, incorporated, not-for-profit organizations, including industry associations, municipalities, public educational institutions, social enterprises, cooperatives, and economic development organizations. And so the four key themes there are infrastructure, capacity building, marketing, and research. So the types of initiatives that we've done here: infrastructure development, cellular service pilot initiatives, destination trail development, regional and municipal marketing, sector organizations, key tourism development, conferences and events. Yeah, Center for Research and Innovation. We're very proud of you, Brennan. Couldn't be more proud. And the community capacity building. So it provides funding to assist with building capacity within non-profit or economic development organizations to enable them to assume the role of partners in regional economic and sector development. So funding exists to promote economic development through capacity building modules and economically focused planning sessions. So
The program is very, very valuable for nonprofits because many of us that work in nonprofit, it's usually a passion project. They don't always have the skills. People are there because it's something they're excited about. Strategic planning, facilitation, relationship, stakeholder engagement, which Suzanne's into. It's just not their skill. They're there because they want a mountain bike and build a trail, or they're there because, in my case, heritage, I'm chairperson of the Heritage Society, and it's a passion thing. And people are joining me on that board who don't always have those skills. So that program is really valuable, I find, for the nonprofit sector.
It is, Carol. And Carol, even if you have some of those resources within house, having someone from outside coming in, providing fresh eyes and just kind of seeing, or people behave a little bit different and they're a little friendlier or a little more, what is it, engaging when there's someone from outside the organization. They're not just always, they're always with their when they're in an organization, they're always with their coworker or their partner or whoever it is. Someone from outside coming in just creates a whole new dynamic and you get some great material out of it usually.
Agreed.
Yeah. These are some of our community capacity building initiatives. Contact is Brent Decker, but it's really me.
Brent's presentation delivered by
Yes.
Colin.
I have Brent, he's done everything. So that's what I've done. Like, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel because he did a great job.
If you want to throw your contact information in chat there as well, Colin, and folks can reach out to you. Questions or comments for Colin?
Nothing about Mexico, Sharon.
This is being recorded, Colin. If your parents are so inclined, they're going to see it.
Exactly what I was thinking, Carol. You just picked it right out of my head. I don't need to say a word. Just forward the link on to Gemma.
Now it's in the internet and everybody knows.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Colin, I got a comment and question, whatever you want to call it, just a conversation starter, maybe. You did a great job, by the way, and you're just so multifaceted. You can speak on any subject, and I did learn some things about you as well. So I was looking at some things myself. So as an entrepreneur, I've been in this business for 9 years, and every time I get an opportunity to speak about the mindfulness, the meditation, yoga, whatever we consider the soft skills in society, I consider the hardcore skills. Because if we start at that space, our businesses are going to flourish, our staff are going to be balanced, holistically well, mind, body, and spirit, and everybody wins. Everybody in business wins, and we're all, focused on the one goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I was looking at all the initiatives, like I always do. I've always thought that, and I've had conversations with government officials. Myself and another colleague that's on this line have had the ear of the Premier, a one-on-one with the Premier, about this very topic of yoga and meditation and incorporating this in mainstream. So, like, I've always said, guys, you know me, I got no money. The only money I got belongs to my husband. He supports everything that I do. So I'm so thankful for that. However, we would think somewhere along the line, government would see this as, come on, let's get a space. If I've had the, I'm going to say finances, if I had the funding, if I had the assistance, if I had the help, I'd have a meditation and yoga studio here in Pasadena. But I would think somebody along the line would say, and I've had conversations with people with municipalities, and I've even had conversation with somebody who has a space that I would love to take over and start this initiative, but the money stops me. So I'm looking at all the community capacity building program, that that process. I don't know if this is something that you and I can sit and talk about. I don't have 100K or whatever the minimum is, and I can't give it back to you, Colin.
Well, see, and that's a good thing, like Sharon, and that's like, to me, I wouldn't want you to enter into a situation where you're spending money where you're not going to see a return, right? So for me, I mean, I was a personal trainer. I'm not as good as the mindfulness. But it's in that health and wellness sector. And I know how important that is. And as a government employee, I know when people go to work and you're in this space, taking 15, 20 minutes every day to go through a mindfulness practice and mind, body, and spirit are all connected. So if you want to get good work out of people, you have to honor that about them. And how's this? Maybe I'll say too much. I don't know if the government is there.
Yeah, no, they're not. And like I said, we've met with the Premier, and like I said, a few yawns and scratches and shifting in his chair, but they understand it. But I guess there's no real finances that they can, no, physical money that they're going to put into this. But see, from somebody like doing this work, and everybody on this call right now, you can look at yourself, you can look in deep and say, when I'm feeling well and I'm not focused on health conditions and mental health, physical health, I'm on fire. So isn't that the way we want our workforce? So we need to be in the EAPs, your employee assistance programs. We're not going to start the day turning on a YouTube video and say, okay, everybody close your eyes, do a stretch, break, whatever. You need somebody to come in and direct this program. It doesn't have to be me, Colin. I don't care if it's ever me. There's lots of young, beautiful people you can get in there. But I'm saying, like, this needs to move within every organization. So I'm just going to keep beating that drum any chance I get. Thank you for your ear.
And Sharon,
and do some digging for me, Colin, for us.
Sharon, you know what, Sharon, you're absolutely correct. And I've worked in government, and I'm very aware of the EAP program. I've been shop steward, all those kinds of things. And so what my experience with this is, I worked where you were. So I'm like, that's kind of like a Band-Aid solution after the fact. You really need to go back and say, we're going to be mindful walking into this space, how we're going to interact together, so we don't end up with a result where someone's feeling frustrated, not getting their work done, and then they have to go access the employee assistance program, which costs the government money. Right. So,
and like if the World Health Organization is predicting, and we are seeing a mental health pandemic in the world, we're not doing anything any differently than we did before. So that's just, we need to do things differently. Yes. Invest our money wisely. And this government are spending our dollars, our tax dollars, all these capacity building initiative, all these funds, they're coming from not my money personally, but somebody else's out there, my husband's and yours.
Mm.
Yeah, wellness is a theme, Colin, that I think gets missed in a lot of funding programs. And, I think that's where Sharon's coming from. And even Sharon and I have had the conversation, have a supply arrangement with government, the federal government, and Sharon tried going down that path, and there's no stream of wellness. There's
Mhm.
technical stuff, a project manager and engineering and consultants and all this kind of thing, but the wellness, isn't such a thing. And someone's trying to encourage Sharon, and they're trying to muddle through. Is she the groundbreaker to say this stream needs to be established? So thank you, Sharon, for bringing that up, because I really do think it's a valuable message that we need to hear. I'll put in my own little message that I tell anyone as well, and for you, Colin, and for others on the call that are having conversations with the people that maybe can make some changes. I find the solopreneur or the really small business, 1 to 3, 1 to 5 employees, isn't always eligible for these programs either.
Yeah.
And it seems like, like the solopreneur who's doing it all. The one thing that jumped on me there was professional services or something. We're doing our social media, we're doing our accounting, or we've got to hire these people. We need to hire, and we don't have the funding necessarily. We're one person shop or a 1 to 3 employee shop. And yeah, there's all these experts out there can do our legal, can do our accounting, can do our social media, do our marketing, do our website and all those things, but there's no pocket of funds for us to help us get there. And it seems to me that misses even the first iteration of the CDAP program, the Canada Digital Adoption Program, that was to provide non-repayable grants to organizations. You had to have employees was the first time it came out. So that sole proprietor didn't qualify. Then they changed that. Well, you have to have a certain threshold of money. That may still eliminate a bunch of people who are doing either a side hustle or, just aren't at that level. And then the last one that eliminated me is you have to deal with consumers. So B2B didn't qualify. So I just find that sometimes the hoops that the parameters that put around, there's a reason for it. I understand government has a strategic direction, yet that potential exclusion of pockets that are being missed, and there doesn't seem to be other programs that support them, those pockets either. So I don't know, that's my rant.
Very often what I just being on this side of it, we're always running to catch up. So we have our programs and they're administered and we design it. But I mean, those programs were designed years and years and years ago. And, innovation, the movers and the shakers of the world that are exploring new avenues, new revenues, they kind of take away from us. So we're always doing catch up. So I don't know if that's what you're experiencing. We're a little bit old school. And the new creative people, they're always getting away from us. But we try to make sure that, we engage here. We're engaged with the university. We get those creative minds some way, somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
We can't be everything.
No, I understand that. And I think it's great that, we're having these conversations, that people maybe just take that little nugget away, or they can have that conversation later with somebody else that they're talking to, that maybe, that's the right ear to hear it. So I do appreciate you coming on for that. Brendan, you want to jump in?
Yeah. First of all, just thanks so much, Colin, for the great presentation. I really appreciate the point, Carol, about how a lot of funding programs sort of inadvertently exclude very early stage entrepreneurs, and I'm sure a lot of us, especially the more sort of support service folks, see that clients come in, if you don't already have employees or making a certain revenue, there's just so many programs that folks aren't eligible for. And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, certainly, IET does support initiatives like CRI that are trying to kind of foster that entrepreneurial culture and you know, provide supports to folks at that really early stage. But yeah, I just hope that there can be some resources available for people before they get to some of those thresholds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like for me, and again, this isn't all about me, it's our whole community, but this is one that I'm actually part of. The Consultant Advisory Services program through CBDC, clients can hire me under that program to be their consultant, but because I'm a consultant, I can't hire another consultant for me. Right? So, you know, there's just that limitation of, you know, the parameters. And so I'm going to somebody saying, hire me because I have the expertise to help you. Oh, and by the way, fill out an application so you can get some money. So it's a double sell, right? It's selling myself and why I'm needed, but then also there's this application you have to go through. And I know that Sharon and Carm have run into that with a lot with the wellness, because there are a couple little grants for not-for-profits, some wellness grants that are out there. But again, back to the skill set of not-for-profits, and they're tiny grants. You know, they're not the, you know, the 5,000, the 10,000 available grants. They're micro grants, but you know, at the same time, they don't always have those expertise to fill those out. So maybe that's something I'll throw out too, Colin, when you talk about the support services that are non-financial. Do you have folks that'll help people with proposal writing on how to navigate this whole process of applying for stuff?
We'll like if you share your proposal and it's in our region, we will definitely come in and provide commentary on that. Say, you know, yeah, for sure. We'll review your proposal and say, yeah, it fits with this program, doesn't fit with this. Have you considered this research? We've seen this in the past. Always keep in contact with us. We have an entire suite of all our projects that we run across the province. So we have a database of all that. So that's very valuable to me. That's a great body of work that we can go back to and refer. And you know what, if there's something that we can learn from past projects and bring it forward, I think that's great.
Okay, awesome. I see folks are adding their contact information in chat. Thank you for that. It's a great opportunity for you to connect with others on here. So a couple things, Colin and Melissa, you've been chatting back and forth about getting together to connect, so that's great. You got a question there from Julie. Is there a template or a proposal format that you're looking for when people are applying for your programs?
Yes, we do. And I can send that to Carol, and you can send that out to everybody.
Okay.
Yep. So
and I
I'll
think
send
there's
that.
one thing again, Brent did come on again to my community capacity or my community connection. So there is a recording again on YouTube. Not that I'm here to promote my YouTube, but it's all interconnected. Brent actually did a session on proposal writing. Probably the biggest takeaway that I took out of that was, even though it seems like all of these templates, there's these sections are really repetitive, he said just cut and paste and put in the information because they're actually going to different people.
Yep.
So this section might be looking at person A and this section might be being looked at by person B. So B doesn't see A necessarily, so just keep repeating. And I know any of us that have gone through the LAMPS program to do the funding for the Canada Job Grants, horrific. No offense, Suzanne, I know you used to work in that department. It's a horrendous process, but you can get some money if you go through it. But it just seems really repetitive. It seems like you're constantly saying the same thing over and over. But it's for that reason. It's going off to different aspects or different people analyzing it. So something to think of that we do that. And I know, Julie, that's tough for you.
Yes.
I totally get it. Julie's very visual, so she wants to give you a nice, mind map and visual representation of her proposal. She doesn't want to put it in words.
I love that too. I love it when there's a big proposal comes in and then there's one visual map at a diagram at the back that explains everything. I'm like, I'm just going to go with the visual. And every person that works in government will tell you, we're sorry about the applications. We're sorry that you have to put in so much dry things, but it's necessary. We have, what is it? We always, the officer, the auditor is always looming for us. We're doing things and we're like, you know what happens if the auditor comes in and they select this project? We got to have all our ticks going off. And I was an auditor for the cost share program, so I understand that stuff. And I apologize, but it's a real thing.
All right. Julie, he'll take your visual. What else do you want to add?
Thank you, Carol, because I just wanted to say I put in a proposal a short time ago about mind mapping, and my application looked like a mind map. The feedback I got from somebody behind the scenes, they kind of said to me, the proposal is great, but make it look boring and then blow the top off of it once you get into the workshop, which drives me nuts. I do understand where you're coming from, which is make it clinical looking, let's just say, and repetitive as need be. But I think this feedback, and I would say this for everybody on this call, is think about the end person reading it. Because Colin, you have got a wide array of experience, and you know, sometimes we have to suck it up. And if they say to you, these are the things, you got to do the things, you know. I mean, I have a big spirit, but I got to put it in a bottle if that's what I'm asked to do, just like the genie, you know, make it big, make it small, make it big, chop off pieces, do all that stuff. And all of us that are into mindfulness, it doesn't feel right. But that's the world we live in. So, you know, I just got to be frank about that. But thank you, Colin, because what you're saying is true. And I appreciate where you're coming from. So thank you for sharing today. That's great.
I know, and I apologize. And I've seen applications come in, and there'll be a proposal attached to it, and then through the application it says see attached proposal, see attached proposal. But that's for us, like if that space is not filled in, because the auditor might come in and say, we're only looking at this question. So they might look at 100 projects, and then for this one project, it says see attached proposal. I'm like, that's not answering anything, because we want to ATIP that one specific thing. So it seems so tedious, and it's cumbersome, and it sucks the creative life source out of you. I'm so sorry, Julie, but it's a real thing.
Yeah, and I think the other side of it too, Colin, though, you know, and I think where some of the frustration comes from is, again, if you're the sole proprietor, you don't have staff to do this for you. This takes a lot of time that you're not being paid for. And you understand that, you know, that's part of your overhead. You got to do this stuff so that you can try and get other stuff. It's just that when it is so tedious and difficult to kind of sit down and do and focus, Sharon's very creative, Carm's very creative, Julie's very creative to sit then and say, okay, how am I going to get in this space? You know, whereas I can sit down and do financial projections, you know, Daphne would be all over financial stuff. And, you know, but, you know, even with the stuff I put together, my mother looks at it and she goes, she's an accountant. She's like, there's not a spreadsheet in that. That's, I can't understand that. There's not a spreadsheet in that. So we each have our skills and our talents, right? So
yes.
Awesome. Any other questions for Colin or comments, folks? So thank you so much for everyone sharing the information. Brennan, I think, has to pop off, but just to point out that with the impacts that Grenfell had recently with their technology, his email has changed. So if you do have him in your contact list, just make sure you get the new email address for him. I'm going to open it up to the floor. If anyone has anything that you'd like to share about your business that's happening, or anything that you'd like to promote and let other folks know that's going on, feel free to raise your hand to do that. Colin, if you want to stop sharing your presentation, that'll get that off your screen for you if you want. But does anyone else have anything to share of what's going on in your world that you'd like the rest of us to know about? We know Daphne is looking for mentors. Carmelita.
Yeah, and a mentor program is kicking off this week. So if anybody wants to join, let us know right away, because we already made the matches with the students, and we're just looking for a few more, and then we're going to kick it off.
Awesome.
It'll be a fun project.
Excellent. Carmelita. You're on mute, my dear.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to reiterate what Sharon said. And, you know, we're here on this today. It's maybe not, you know, a great platform to get our message across. But the thing is, we go everywhere to get our message across because, and Sharon mentioned again, it's we really believe that this is where, businesses can thrive. If we can get this out to all businesses, all groups, that, start at level 1, at your foundation. And, I think there's a lot of people on here today. Maybe Colin can't really help us out that much. Maybe he can get a little bit of the message across. But I know there are a lot of people on here today who can probably just help spread the word. Because really, from my perspective, I know that years ago, I went away to a yoga journal conference, and one of my favorite teachers, Sharon, was there presenting. And I'll never forget what she said. She said, find your wound and you'll find your passion. Or in other words, find, what you're really passionate about, and you can get it across and people will believe you. But you have to have the platform. And I know Sharon was being very private and she wasn't saying anything about who was with her at that meeting with the Premier. I was. And, it is frustrating. We find it so frustrating that people aren't getting it, and people who we think should get it. And anyway, what I'd just like to say is, anywhere you get a chance, and if you're into mindfulness, meditation, or yoga, just put a plug in for it. You know what it does for you. And in the business community, we think businesses can only thrive if they start there at that foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Shall we take a moment, Sharon? Do you want to just actually give us a moment to ground?
100%. Thought you'd never ask, Carol.
Every now and then I ask you to do that, but I think it's appropriate for today.
I love it. I love it. I'll invite everybody just to sit comfortably. Allow your hands to be dead weight on your laps. Uncross your feet, plug your feet into the foundation, whatever it is, carpet or your mat. And just gently close your eyes. Soften your gaze behind your eyes. And now let's just take 3 long, slow, deep breaths. Bring your awareness to your body. Just silently ask yourself, how do I feel right now? How are you? Check in with yourself. If there's any kind of stress, tension, aggravation in the body, just direct your breath there. Allow the breath to rest there. And now just let the breath be free. Your own pace, your own tempo, your own rhythm, as we sit mindfully together and breathe. Bring your awareness back to your breath, back to the body, as you silently remind yourself, I am supported. I am safe. I'm okay. Allow your breathing to become deeper. Gently float your eyes back open, blink them open. Bring your hands to your heart center. Namaste, my friends. Namaste, enjoy your day. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Sharon. That was beautiful. So while we were sitting there with our eyes closed, you can probably see now the sun came out and I could feel the warm. My eyes were closed and I could feel it getting warmer and it's just shining right in on me. So beautiful. Thank you. Look at that. A bonus today. We get a mindful moment. Thank you, ladies, for bringing it up. And thank you, everyone, for participating with us during that. Yeah, I felt good. Not that I didn't feel good before, but feeling better. And Colin went to Mexico. Colin, just comment in chat. You were just off in Mexico then. Any other questions or comments or anything anyone would like to share?
Well, definitely, I didn't think I was gonna be meditating when I joined this call.
I was just gonna say, Bowen, what do you think? This is your first experience here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just a little something personal to share. I'm originally from Burma. I was raised Buddhist, right? And it's very custom and traditional for boys to go through this whole monkhood thing. So for at least once in our lives, we'd have to enter a young monkhood. And of course, I was, as with all cultures, forced to go through this thing as well. I lasted 3 days, right? I was 10. I lasted 3 days in the monastery. A couple years later, I did it again. Like my dad was like, "Nope, this time you're actually going to do it." And for 10 days, he sent me to this meditation camp. And honestly, it was the most peaceful time in my life. Like it's not euphoria, it's not bliss by any means, but it was peaceful, 10 days of just absolutely nothing. And yeah, I just wanted to share that experience that, yeah, meditation is great when you can't get to it.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing.
So cool.
I don't know. 10 days of doing nothing might be bliss. For those of us that are go 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 sometimes too much. There you go. All right. I think, folks, I'm going to give you back about 15 minutes of your day. Thank you once again for joining us this morning. Thank you, Colin, for a fantastic presentation. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Thank you, Sharon, for taking us for that mindful moment. Certainly a bonus for today. Encourage you to follow along social media, check out Navigate, check out the provincial government, NLWIC, these agencies. Without these agencies, we would not be successful people. I can tell you that. Any new entrepreneur that I meet, that's usually my comment, is there are a ton of people that want you to be successful. And it's not just the agencies that actually, it's this network of entrepreneurs as well, that you go out for coffee and somebody's like, hey, it's the messaging you folks just gave me this morning, celebrating with me with my accomplishments. And I do the same. We want to celebrate together. We want to cry together sometimes. We want to just laugh together. And, especially those of us in smaller organizations where we don't have a great big team that we can go bounce ideas off of. It's just great to know that there are so many people that want to help you and just be part of your success. So the next coffee break is already scheduled, March 14th, I want to say. If you talk about getting ahead of your schedule, it's going to be about time management. This was a request by a participant in this community, and I've been thrilled to be able to juggle and bounce around the schedule to get Jess Chapman of E3. And she is going to be my guest in March, and registration is open on my website if you want to register. She's got a background in neuroscience. So she's going to talk about what happens in our head when we're that sole proprietor who's doing everything at the same time, and how we're trying to squish that into some timeline. So I'm really excited to be bringing her on board for our March coffee break. April, I'm just working on a date, but I'm looking at bringing back a perennial favorite, which is Sheldon Payne from Newfound Marketing. Sheldon just sits back and chats about marketing. He's so laid back and so easygoing, and he lets us take the conversation wherever we want it. I'm probably going to start with a little bit of a focus on LinkedIn, because I think some of us miss that social media platform sometimes, or we're not quite sure. It's a little bit more business focused versus our Facebook and our Instagram and those things. So I'm probably going to be asking him to start there, but we can certainly roll whichever direction. So I'm just trying to get a date nailed down with him for April. If you have any suggestions, if you have any guests, Suzanne, you're on my hit list when you're ready. Maybe May or June, I can get you on the list to share about your ecosystem piece. Because I think that's just fantastic. I'm so excited to hear about that. But again, if this is your community, folks, if you've got suggestions or comments or anything that you can think of that will make this valuable for you, I'm open to it, and I'm here to try to help make that happen. So on that note, have a fantastic day, everyone. Stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you next month, if not before.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. It was wonderful again. Thank you. Happy anniversary again, Carol.
Yes,
Thank
happy
you.
anniversary.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.